and told them, say, well, they've gone. Said, if you hurry, you might be able to catch them. But see, God's got a plan. You say, well, God likes to deal with liars. No, God don't like to deal with liars. He likes to save liars. And He likes to make a change. And so we're down to here now, and she's wanting a true token. They're wanting to make a covenant. Verse 13, and that you will save alive my father, my mother, my brethren, my sisters, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death. I believe she knew that destruction was coming. And can I tell you tonight that destruction is coming to this world? You might say, well, that only happens in them states. That don't happen right here where we live. We're protected. We have been protected. But it's just a matter of time. You preaching doom and gloom? No, I'm trying to get your attention tonight to let you know that there's a man called Jesus that can make a change in your life. He can take whatever's wrong and He can make it right. And whatever the enemy is using against you, if you'll allow God, He'll take it and use it for your good. And the men answered her, verse 14, our life for yours, if ye utter not this our business. And it shall be when the Lord hath given us the land that we will deal kindly and truly with thee. Then she let them down by a cord. And here's where this came in. Then she let them down, verse 15, by a cord through the window. For her house was upon the town wall, and she dwelt upon the wall. Again, she'd hid them under that flax, and researching on that flax, it was a stalk, it was a plant, and they would use part of it to make this rope with, no doubt, and they used the finer part of it to make clothing maybe with, on the research that I found. And it also said that while they did that it mentioned this lady as being it called her a harlot, and you see people with a lot of red, and we automatically think a bad thing, but there's a good thing about the red. And no doubt she took that very rope from that flax, and she had woven it together, and she had dyed that cord, and it was scarlet red. And she put it in the window, and she let the men down. Now, the men had to have some faith as they went down that little old piece of rope that it was going to hold them. Just thinking. This is just Stan thinking. But also, while I was thinking about that, at the same time, Rahab had to have some faith that the same thing that delivered them men was going to be the same thing that was going to deliver her and her family. You saying that rope delivered them? No. But her being obedient and putting it out that window and letting it hang there, when they came in to take the land that was theirs that God had given them, when they came in to take that, they destroyed everything in their path. They annihilated it. They burned it. They tore it down. And God was on their side. You might say, well, what can I do? I'm just me. Well, honey, let me tell you what you can do. If God's on your side tonight, you've got the majority. All you need to do is walk in His plan and let Him do His work through you. And when they come into town, if you will, and when they came in and began to destroy, they looked up and they seen that cord. And you know what they remembered? They remembered the covenant that they had made with her. Sometimes we look around and we forget whose we are and where we're going and what's been done for us. I know I have. Maybe you haven't, but maybe I'm preaching to Stan tonight. And sometimes we get our focus off of what we need to keep our focus on, and we look at things that we don't need to be looking at maybe. And we've got to remember that God made a covenant. And she said unto them, get you to the mountain, lest the pursuers meet you. Hide yourselves there 3 days until the pursuers be returned, and afterward may you go your way. And it shall be, verse 19. Let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. And the man said unto her, we will be blameless of this thine oath which thou hast made us swear. Verse 18, behold, when we come into the land, thou shalt bind this line of scarlet thread in the window, which thou didst let us down by, and thou shalt bring thy father, thy mother, thy brethren, and all thy father's household home unto thee. And it shall be that whosoever shall go out the doors of thy house into the street, his blood shall be upon his head, and we will be guiltless. And whosoever shall be with thee in the house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand be upon him. And it goes on that they took back that land, but also at the same time that Rahab, the harlot, her family, her mom, her dad, her brothers, her sisters, all those that she loved, she brought them into her house. And there was safety there. But to look at her, from the very beginning, she had a hopeless beginning. Maybe you're watching tonight and you feel hopeless. But let me assure you, as long as there's breath in your body, there's hope. As long as there's breath, there's hope. She was a woman in a world where women were mistreated, devalued, and taken for granted. Maybe you feel that way. I don't know. I'm not a woman, I'm a man, but there have been times that I felt this very same way. She was a harlot. Her profession was to sell herself to men for money. The fact that she was a harlot, though, magnifies the grace of God. Amen. The grace of God that appeared unto all men. Amen. It's His grace. It's by His grace. I believe one writer said, it's by the grace of God I am what I am. And I am what I am tonight myself by the grace of God.